So it's come to this, has it? Hello there, and welcome back to my review. Sorry for once again, it's been a bit of a hiatus since the last one. Some stuff's been happening in my personal life that's caused me to have to postpone a lot of these videos, but hopefully they're going to be coming more regularly now after this, maybe. Still in the middle of all that personal stuff, but anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So, this is now probably going to be the last Indiana Jones movie that we're going to get for maybe ever, unless, of course, they reboot it or they cast a new person, a successor to Indiana Jones. Who knows? I don't know. But the Indiana Jones movies and the character as we know it is probably going to end here with this movie. And, there was anticipation for this movie. Not just because, it's an Indiana Jones movie, but because, people weren't too fond of the last one, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yeah. And, I will say, back in the day when I saw Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, at the time I didn't think it was that bad. There was quite a lot of things I enjoyed in there, but yeah, you know what I mean. The Indiana Jones movies, the first three movies were a little bit before my time, so maybe I didn't have as much of a connection to them as a lot of other people did. But I have since seen all of them, and yeah, they're great movies, and yeah, Kingdom with the Crystal Skull is probably the least out of all of them. But now we have this new one, and we don't have Spielberg directing this time, but we have James Mangold, and he's very capable, very versatile director. So on paper, it seems like there a lot of the ingredients are there. And I will say that this movie, it's like probably the best thing I can say about this movie is that it is very well made. It is very well produced. A lot of the Indiana Jones movies, one of the things that we always praise about them is just how well they're made, how practical they are with their effects, all the action sequences. It's all stunts and sets and everything. Very very little CGI. And in this case, yeah, there's probably in this movie there probably is a lot more CGI, but everything looks, a lot of it still looks and feels, pretty grounded, pretty gritty, pretty exciting action. And they do try to capture a lot of the sense of adventure and style of the Indiana Jones movies. And in terms of style, yeah, they certainly capture it. But now, in terms of the adventure and fun, you can tell they're trying to with this movie. But well, anyway, for me, anyway, it didn't. I didn't quite feel that sense of adventure, that sense of fun with this movie. This is definitely a movie that feels a lot more, a lot more somber, I suppose. And in some ways, that makes sense. This one we like again with the Crystal Skull. We're dealing with an older Indiana Jones, and probably a lot older now. It's been a few years since then, but also he's a very really at a low point in his life, Indiana Jones. Like I know this movie's been out now for a while now, so a lot of you probably know what I mean. But just in case, I'm not going to spoil anything. But yeah, he's at a pretty low point in his life here. Not just because he's old, but because of a lot of things that's happening in his personal life. So, and Harrison Ford, of course, back in the role, and he can practically play this role in his sleep now. He's yeah, so he's yeah, he's great. He's great in the role, of course. And of course, this is as I was talking about, much more somber, much more dramatic kind of Indiana Jones movie. He can't, do a lot of the, action that he could before. He's much older, even though yeah, he can still throw a punch here and there, but yeah, he's much more vulnerable now. Not just physically, but emotionally as well. And yeah, see, the thing is, they do try to capture a lot of these like the sense of adventure with the production, and also this they try to capture a deeper sense of character and thematic depth with what Indy is going through in this movie, and throughout this journey that he's taking. It's like every other Indiana Jones movie is trying to get some kind of MacGuffin. He's that has this kind of mystical, unknown, ambiguous kind of power. Villains are trying to stop him. He has companions along the way, and he's also trying to deal with all these things going on within himself. But they try to do all this, but it never feels like you don't feel that sense of thematic depth, that sense of character, that sense of adventure and fun. A lot of the time, anyway, for me, a lot of it feels kind of soulless. I don't know, and maybe part of that has to do with because this is a much more somber, as I said, Indiana Jones movie. So it's probably not supposed to be all fun and games, but uh, and I don't know for sure whether that was kind of a mistake, but yeah, this movie it feels a little bit soulless, and also this probably a lot of it also has to do with the story, the script. And I mean, yeah, the basic story is, as I was saying, the same as a lot of the other Indiana Jones movies, but um, the adventure that they're going through, there's just not a lot of like a sense of I don't know excitement. A lot of it strangely feels so kind of dull, I suppose. I mean, like there's a lot of new characters also that they introduce in this movie, along with a couple of returning ones, and you know, um, I mean, a lot of them I guess serve their function, but they don't feel as um, they don't feel as fun as a lot of the other characters. The villain that we have here, played by Mads Mikkelsen, he started out in the movie kind of interesting, kind of intriguing, but then as the movie went along, and he's the kind of villain that just shows up here and there as we go through this adventure, this journey, popping up here and there. He becomes less and less interesting, and by the end, it's like, well, what was this guy really about anyway? Um, and his most Indy's most prevalent companion here, the newest character, is played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, is probably the most, I guess, well fleshed out new character in this movie. She has background, she has personality, she has motivation, she even has an arc throughout the movie, I guess. So yeah, I guess like with the rest of the movie, on paper, and well, all this seems good, but seeing it all play out on screen, it didn't feel very. It just felt very flat, I guess, for a lot of this movie. It's not all bad. It's just strangely dull. Like they just go from place to place. The action sequences, they're well done, they're well exciting, they're well done, well crafted. But and while I can point to very cool, great moments in a lot of these action sequences, there's not one that I can say was very um, unique. Like, oh, I'm gonna remember that little set piece or sequence or anything. It just feels so like I should feel excited about this movie, and I should feel a sense of fun throughout. But I just didn't. Everything was so dull, I guess. I'm running out of adjectives to describe this movie, but yeah. At this point, you get what I mean. So like, and it's weird because the director James Mangold has done a movie like this before, Logan, about a well-known character who's past his prime, and he's has to deal with this. He's had to go on this like journey, on this adventure to try to um, you know reclaim some of that glory, that vitality, while also making peace with the fact that he's older and he's gone through all this stuff, and he did that so well. And with this one, um, it just didn't feel the same. It felt, I mean, yeah, it is different, but I should be able to feel that same sense of emotion and excitement, and I just didn't. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if there was any studio interference, or it was just like the wrong script, or like something went wrong in the production. But it was just, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. And talking of weird, the now just to point to one last element of this movie, the MacGuffin that I talk about, this mystical object that they're going after throughout this movie. I mean, not to spoil anything else, but people complained about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, with the aliens and the flying saucers and everything. But with what they do with this thing here in this movie, like when you first hear like what this thing is supposed to do, you're like, really? But like, okay, I mean, well, where is this leading to? I mean, this could be something cool. I mean, it still sounds very weird. Like, I mean, throughout the first three movies, we were dealing with magic and mysticism and power of God and stuff like that. And then we went to aliens and flying saucers. People hated that, but now with this one, this is this is the kind of power you decided to give this thing. And but then by the end, when you try to suspend disbelief and just go along with it and try to see where this goes, and when you finally see where they go with this thing, it's like, really, this is the direction you decided to go with it? So maybe that's kind of like a microcosm of how to describe this movie. It's like, there's a lot of good pieces here, and on paper, it should make sense. Everything should fit together nicely, but just watching it all play out, it just doesn't. It's just so, um, so soulless, emotionless. So yeah, I'm sorry. I hate that I have to say this, but yeah, I guess the best I can give this movie is a bronze. That's the best I can give it. And if this is supposed to be Indiana Jones' swan song, then yeah, it's a pretty disappointing note to end on. I'm sorry to say. But well, we don't know where they're gonna go from here. I mean, even if this is the end, at least we still have those original three movies. And even for some, maybe Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, maybe there's some apologists out there. Yeah, it's a sad day when I can say that I did get more out of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull than I did with this. Because as weird as that movie was, at least it was in some ways memorably bad, but also very entertaining. Maybe not always in the right way, but still entertaining in a lot of ways. And with this one, they try to capture a lot of like fun elements and entertainment, but they're also trying to be serious and deep and emotional, and maybe just the clash between the two just made it come out as this dull mess. Maybe, I don't know, but there it is. Thank you for watching, and look forward to more after this. Bye.